Hi everybody, Jo here. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to having a bit of a crafty catch up with you. And today I've come in to answer a little question, and this is from Bernadette, who's one of our lovely friends and followers, and she's new to Lavinia stamps and stamping. And she wants to know, with minimum sort of starting off materials, she wants to create some cards for her female friends and family. And so what I thought I'd do today is just give you an idea of what to create with. We're just going to use one permanent ink pad. So that's the Versafine Clair, the Nocturne. And when you're starting off, so this is for anybody, because quite a few of you have actually messaged and said that you're new to Lavinia and to stamping even. So Nocturne, fabulous. It's a permanent ink and it's great for your stamping. And if you only can buy one, you start off with the black. You can do an awful lot with the black. Now I'm going to use one of the elements, and I'm going to use blue Atoll. Again, I often get asked, ladies and gentlemen, saying, oh, I'm going to buy, say, 3 ink pads. What colours do you recommend? And I'd always have a blue in there because blue's so useful. It can be sky, it can be sea, water. It can just be a background colour. And, you know, if you need 3, green's a good one, because if you're doing landscapes, you've got land and sky. And also green's a lovely background colour. It goes lovely with florals. And then maybe just go for your favourite colour. You know, what colours do you like? We all have favourite colours, don't we? Although I've got to be honest, mine does seem to change depending what mood I'm in. For a stamp set, so for one stamp set, I've gone for the Wild Summer Flowers, because this I think is a lovely stamp set. You can do a lot with it. You get the large and the small. It's also great to team this up with some of the mini stamps. So again, when you're starting off, my advice would be every time you buy something or order something, add in a couple of mini stamps, because for me, they're very good value for money. Now, this is one design I've come up with, and this is one of my offcuts. So it's 5.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And the only other thing you're going to need is the round circle mask. And again, I would always recommend buying those and the mini hill masks, because you can do so much with them. And we need things that are versatile. We're going to create the moon, but you can use it for spotlighting. You know, and as you build up your collection, you could do this design again, but add some purple to the sky. Maybe buy a violet chalk. You know, and once you get the basis. Now, I know a lot of you like A6 cards, you're into smaller cards. So this is one idea. And what we'll do is we'll make the landscape version. And we're going to start off, this one, I'm going to start off with creating the background first. So with the Acetate Circle masks, you get various sizes. Now, I've used that one on my portrait one, look, but I think it's too large when we go landscape. So I'm going to get the smaller one. A little tip, that yellow is just a little bit of yellow Posca, because it helps me locate my circle mask, because they have a habit of disappearing. Mine do anyway. So I'm going to pop that there, but I tend to find it easier to just turn my work upside down. Just works that way. We all get sort of into these habits. So blue Atoll, the large stencil brush, so that's the number 9. And again, I always blend in the lid and start at the bottom and just bring some ink off the mask. And the reason we're starting at the bottom is when you've got most ink on your brush, you'll have the darkest colour. And if you start and it's too dark, especially if it's a juicy new ink pad, if the colour's at the bottom and it's darker, it'll look like shadow. Whereas if you add too much dark colour at the top, you've then got to make that bit even darker. Does that make sense? So on this one, I'm not going to go right to the edges. Again, if I show you this one, look, we've got little white areas. So we're not doing it, we're just sort of adding a little bit of colour. It's a nice, clean and simple. So look, we've got that. And we'll just come in and add a little bit more down this middle bit. Now again, if you've got a very juicy ink pad, I always recommend coming in from the edge and then blending up. Mine's a well-used ink pad, so it's quite pale. So if yours is darker than mine, it's probably just that it's newer. I need to top up when I visit. So if we have a look, so we've got this so far. Now that's going to be the top, this is the base. So I'll just add some more blue along the bottom, especially in the middle. And just build it up. Now if you're looking, you've got stencils, you could add a little bit of stenciling in the background. And I'm going to stop with that there. That's just, it probably won't show up very much on the bright light, but that's a lovely bit of colour for me. So now with some stamping, and remember, when you pop your stamp on, look, you can alter the angle. So let's have a look. Yeah, we could pop that there. So remember, you can get a little bit of play in the stem and take your ink pad to the stamp, gently tap. Now I can see I somehow have got glitter on here. If your stamps do get dirty, you know, get glitter, let's just pop this over the moon. It looks nice to have one over the moon, look. Again, keep one hand on the ink block, the acrylic block at all times. And don't lift it up. Don't be too quick to lift it up. Let that ink soak into the card. And especially, I do understand when you start off, if you're a bit nervous, your instinct is to lift it up straight away. For me, if I do that, it doesn't stamp properly. I need to just let it soak in. Now, let's just have another, and I'll just bend it the opposite way. So, as I was saying, if your stamp gets too dirty, because I just clean mine with a damp cloth and then dry it with a clean cloth. If they stop sticking, or you do get lots of glitter or things on them, just pop them in warm soapy water and just give them a bit of a zhuzh, technical term. Right, let's have this one here. And then just cool, clean water, and then I just leave them face up to dry on my mat. And they'll be good as new. So I think we'll just have two, look, with the smaller one. Now, again, you know, if you were looking or needed a sympathy card, a condolence card, I think you could use this for a condolence card. Don't add anything else, just maybe our little sentiment here. But I'm going to come in, build it up a little bit more with the smaller one. So, and if you're not sure where to stamp, just use your acetate, pop your acetate on. Now, I'm thinking, let's go second generation there. So second generation is just where you don't add any more ink and you get it paler. So that gives you perspective. Now, we've got an even number there. We really like odd numbers. So let's just stamp one more just over here. And then that's given me a nice grouping look. And also I like it because it's off centre. I do like things that are off centre. So I'm going to give that a blot just with my copy paper, because your Versafine Clair is a slow drying ink. So what I don't want to do is smudge it. And if I was to put my hand on it, I could get ink on here and then ink on here, whereas just give it a little blot. Now, what I'm going to do now is I just want to add a little bit of colour. I'm thinking this could be a birthday card or a get well card. And a couple of things I'm going to do. One, I'm just going to come in with a pastel pencil and just add a little bit of white pastel over the black. And it sort of fuzzies it a little bit, but makes it look a bit ethereal. And then this is just a jelly roll pen, a glaze. Now, this is a bit where I'm going to ask you how you are, because it may take me a while. Note to self, when you're doing this, depending on how many of these, depends on how much you want to add your colour. Little tip, I rest on a piece of kitchen roll just because I don't want to, if I've got any ink on here, I don't want to pop it on my work. And all I'm going to do, look, check it's working, is just dot in each one of these. So while I'm dotting, it just gives me a chance to ask how you are. Just a little check-in. Check what such a week you're having. I hope it's going okay. I have to say things are very busy at Lavinia HQ. As you know, the Dreamatorium opens next week. And, I mean, it just looks amazing. I hope you'll join us either in person or online. I mean, honestly, Tracy, years ago, when her and Kev had just purchased the building, I remember at one extravaganza she was showing Sarah and myself a video of it. And to see it come from that to what it is today, to see Tracy's vision is just amazing. They have all worked so hard, days, nights, weekends. So, well done. And you know what? I just know you're going to love it. And I can't wait to start teaching. I've got my first workshop there in April. And it's such a, the first time I visited, honestly, it's such an atmospheric and it's definitely got a vibe. When you go in, the history there is just amazing. And do check the blog out because it's so interesting what they've found. So, but it does mean all things Lavinia have been a bit hectic, a bit busy. So to be honest, it's quite nice to just take 5 minutes out and do a little bit of colouring and just slow down. And to be honest, just take a breath. But I hope you've had a good week. I hope things are going okay. Bless us, our poor little Elliot, our grandson, is only 7 and he's been diagnosed with celiacs. So, bless him, he said to me today, he said, Grandma, there are more nice foods with gluten in than there are without. I mean, he's used to me having gluten-free foods, but bless him, I don't think he expected to do it himself, not at 7. So, but I've told him, he's just special like Grandma. So, you see the difference that makes? Now, you could add some glitter. I'm going to leave the glitter off because I'm not sure who I'm going to send this to. So I often like to leave the glitter. But what I do want to do is, and again, this is very simple. Like I say, as you build up your collection of stamps, you can do this design, but add more stamps, add more colours. But it's nice to have just that basic idea to start off with. Now, I'm going to take my fan brush and just tip it in my water. Now, you can do 2 things. You could just flick water on here to faux bleach, but I want to add a little bit of colour. So I'm going to put a little bit of my blue Atoll on my mat. And then I'm just moving that out because if you've ever spritzed, sometimes the spray comes up on your work. Now, we'll pick that colour up. I want the blue over the moon. If I didn't, I could pop the mask back on and it would protect it. But I want it right across and I just want some nice gentle flicks. And again, just keep adding. You don't want to overdo it. But it just adds a bit of interest into the background. We'll just add a little bit down here. And then we'll wipe that up because, we don't want to put our hands in it, do we? And as that dries, it'll just add that lovely bit of interest. But I think when you look, again, a couple of inks, that's all you need. And I think when you're starting off, but also, you know, sometimes we do just want a quick card, a clean and simple, or we just want to spend, we haven't got ages. I mean, I love cards where I lose myself and spend hours, but sometimes we just don't have that time, do we? So I think just as a basis to start off with, but I must admit, I have a lovely tin full of little bows and I'd be tempted, let's have a look. I've got a couple of different blues, especially this one here, look. You could pop a bow. Yeah, I think that one, just to make it even that bit more special, pop a bow on there. And I'm thinking a sentiment here. You could add a butterfly here. But I'm thinking just to start off with, if we haven't got a lot, you can do an awful lot with just one ink pad. As I say, a very short little catch up today, because honestly, so much to do that I didn't want to not just pop in and check how you are. So I hope you're okay. I hope you've got a lovely weekend planned. I hope the weather's nice. Certainly we're coming into spring. I think our clocks change this weekend. Now, I've obviously said that without thinking, so I do need to check. So do double check. Don't just take my word for it. Because, you know, when I'm busy, I'm not that good a reliable source, because you know what it's like. I mean, I was so impressed today. I actually went in a room and knew what I'd gone in for. Do you know, that was a turn up for the books. That doesn't happen very often. So, as always, thanks for popping in. And like I say, any questions, just let me know. And Bernadette, I hope that's helped. And I think it's fabulous to have you join us on your Lavinia journey. And welcome to the family. And anything you need to know, just ask. There's me, but also you lovely lot. You help each other, which is amazing. So I'm off now. Coffee machine's calling. You know what I'm like. So you take care. Much love and hugs from me. Bye for now.